Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the June edition of onX Offroad 101 Masterclass. We will be doing a deep dive in all of the things onX Offroad. So thank you for joining. As everyone is starting to fill the virtual room, a couple housekeeping items. Number one, your audio and your video is turned off, so I can't see you. And I can't hear you. I can hear my kids in the room next door. I wish I could have the mute button or video off, but I don't have that option. But I don't get to see you, lovely folks. But please put in the chat down below. Let us know where you are tuning in from. I am up in North Idaho. Whoa, I just got another North Idaho. That was quick. A lot of Idaho already. Let us know where you're coming in from. And then also, please let us know what vehicle you or vehicles you are running right now. We will get officially kicked off here in just 1 second while folks continue to fill the virtual room here. I've seen, wow, you guys are fast typers. Southern California, I see Montana, I see Virginia, Kansas. Again, anyone who is just now joining, welcome to June's edition of onX Offroad Masterclass. For anyone who's joining now and filling up our virtual room, please let us know where you are tuning in from, what rig you are running. And then also, just if you have questions throughout tonight's masterclass, a couple things. Number one, I can't see you, I can't hear you. So if you're raising your hand back in the classroom, I can't see you. So please put the question into the Q&A bubble down below. That way we have a dedicated team who's going to be able to answer your questions. If you put a question in just the general chat, it will likely get overtaken by a bunch of hype comments about the stuff we are all learning together. So again, thank you for joining. Let us know where you are tuning in from. So for tonight, we are going to, got to back up. You have myself, Andy Zielinski. I am the product marketing manager for onX Offroad, and I get the joy of working with our product team to basically map out what features we are going to release to our customers, and then let all of you guys know that we've got these amazing features and how to use these features. While I am not doing that, I am taking my 95 Land Cruiser, affectionately named Larry, out on all of the trails that I can get access to up here in North Idaho, which I did this past weekend, and that's what those photos are from. Um, the snow is melting off. Thank goodness. If you are a fan of this summer weather, let me know in the chat what we have cooking for tonight. So it's going to be a general overview. A couple things that I like to kind of prep the squad for is I would encourage you guys to either get on your desktop to follow along or grab your phone. If you remember back in the day when you were in class, you'd be told, get off your phone, focus, blah, 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 blah. We're throwing that out the window. Get on your phone, open up the app, follow along. I am not going to display the mobile version simply because it's a lot to manage. It's hard to see. So I'm going to stay on the desktop version, and I will help you guys kind of orient your visual recognition and spatial awareness to where you should be focusing your attention on the app. The parity to web versus mobile, it's the same. So if you're like, hey, where's this at? Chances are it's because of a membership level. I'll get into that more. I will then do a deep dive on a few key features. And then for any of you who decide to stick around for the giveaway, we have a giveaway at the end. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to transition out of this screen and I'm going to go into this screen. Melissa, can you confirm if you see my map?
I can see it, Andy.
Cool. Thank you. This is behind the scene tricks, high production here. Thank you for participating. Okay, let's dive right in. So, first things first, if you look at the map, there's a few things just to kind of be aware of. Number one, we have this navigation bar. It's on the left-hand side. It is this white bar all the way down with Discover, offline maps, my content, etc., etc. If you are on your mobile device, this is going to be at the bottom of the app. So same kind of feature list, same navigation. You'll see the Discover at the left and all the way over, which you won't see on desktop simply because it's the computer. But what you will see on the mobile is Go and Track. I'll get into that in a second. But you'll see that navigation bar. And then where I'm going to start tonight is right up here, this little orange button that has the word dirt next to it. And I am going to try to go intentionally slow. So if this is like, oh my gosh, this is painfully slow, I'm doing that so we can all follow along together. And again, if you have a question, please drop that into the Q&A for our team to answer. So if you're new to onX Offroad, you're like, all right, what is this? What is this program all about? What is this product all about? First off, this was a product that was built by off-roaders for off-roaders, meaning everything that we are putting into the product is obsessed. We are obsessing with all of. Seeing some audio issues. Is there audio issues? Melissa, are you getting audio issues?
I can hear
No.
you loud and clear,
Okay,
Andy.
cool. Um, Thank you everybody for confirming. So making sure that we are putting the right kind of information out to the world. So let's go ahead, click the dirt button, open that up, and basically you're going to be able to filter the activities by ride type. So as you can see here, there's the trail type that you can kind of begin to filter and select through. If I'm going to click all, look what happens to the map. All of a sudden, all of these colored trails or colored lines start showing up. And I will get into what all of the colors represent here in just one second. But you can begin to filter your map based off of the vehicle size that you are running. So for me, I'm running generally like high clearance 4x4 trails because I have my Land Cruiser on 35s. So I will generally select high clearance 4x4 trails, or I will select full width roads. And so what that will do is that will kind of give me a mix of some technical trails that I will want to run, but then also open up the gamut to all the forest roads and anything else that might be accessible for my vehicle. And then what you're going to see here is the ability to filter out difficulty level. So if you are relatively new to the off-roading space, cool, we have trails for you. If you are super experienced and you are out wanting to get into some really fun, gnarly adventures, we've got trails for you. So it's as simple as clicking around and beginning to filter out based off of the intent you have for the day. Now, I'm going to pause for 1 second. I'm going to jump ahead to explain one thing really quickly before I continue. And that is if I scroll down to Map Legend and click on Map Legend, this will now show you how the trails are categorized and why they are the colors that they are. We recently went through a pretty big and substantial map redesign effort where we took all of the trails that we have in our product, and from a visual perspective, it kind of looked like a mess, and that's what we heard from our customers. And you guys wanted the ability to filter out pretty quickly trails that would either make the most sense for you and your adventure that day, or for future planning. So as you can see, we went through and we categorized trails by difficulty. So you can see green means they're easy, blue, moderate, black, difficult, red is extreme, so on and so forth. We have a difficulty rating, which might be unknown. And then we also have kind of a breakdown of vehicle type description. So that way, if you're curious, like what does a 60-inch trail kind of qualify as versus a 50-inch, which probably you already know, but we have this information in the product as well as icons to let you know if and when a trail is seasonally closed, which is always important, especially where I'm at, where the season can really impact trail conditions and open and closed status. Lastly, or I guess two more points, land areas. So we have clear delineation of what the land areas are, BLM, which if you're not familiar with, Bureau of Land Management, we have that color coded, Forest Service, open ride areas, or private land, all clearly marked on the map. And as I get through some of the map and some of the product, you'll see that show up. And then points of interest. So if you are in a planning mindset and you're really curious about dispersed camping options versus trailheads versus are there going to be obstacles that might be on the trail that I need to be prepared for, those are all clearly marked on the map as well. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top here. I'm going to back out of this and then kind of close up this section by looking at a few things. One, you can filter by trail length. So if you have kind of a fixed window that you need to go out and you just want some time on the dirt, you can filter down to a shorter trail versus a longer trail, total time, etc., etc. And then we have a couple of fun layers, private land and active wildfire. I'm going to get back to those in just one second. So please, if you're like, I want to know more about private land, don't worry, you will. But before we do that, let's get back to trails. So I'm going to go over here to the Discover tab. And this is right here. If you can see my cursor, it's the top of the navigation bar for you folks on the mobile device. It's going to be on the left-hand side. Go ahead and tap that, and that's going to open up all of the nearby trails within about a 250-mile radius, and that might vary depending on where you are at and how many trails you have within your region. But so for me, in my area, I have access to all of these trails. I will want to make sure that they are filtered according to my ride type. So I'm going to go back really quickly. I am simply going to do full width roads for the sake of the demonstration. Done. Go back to my Discover Trails tab. And now I can see which trails I have access to. What's amazing about this feature is, as an example, I am making a pilgrimage back down to Oregon. That's where I'm originally from this weekend, and I will be planning on taking my rig and I will want to go explore some trails over the long weekend. So for me, I want to quickly have access to what is the trail difficulty. Well, I can see right here as an example, Marie Saddle, which is not in Oregon, I understand, but I can quickly see it's 12 miles. That seems doable. It's a 2 on the difficulty rating. That seems doable. Looks like a fun time. Now, I just want a little bit more information on Marie's Saddle Trail. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that. And then you're going to see what we call a trail card. And the trail card is going to break down all of the important information you need to know about that specific trail. It's really important to note that the way that we are piping in these guided trails that are color coded, blue, green, red, black, etc. These are coming in from a group of individuals called trail guides. And Trail Guides, it's a program that we have at onX Offroad where we are basically, if you're an off-roader, avid and experienced off-roader, you have the chance to apply. You go through a filter and intake process, so experience level, type of rig you are running, and then once you are approved and in the system, then these folks, the trail guides, go out and they run the trails and they're gathering specific bits of information, which I will sort of unpack here in which shows up in the trail card, and I'll unpack the different little bits of information along the way. So first thing you're going to notice is there's a trail reports symbol here. Now, trail reports is a relatively new feature, which is effectively allowing the community to let the rest of the community know what the trail condition is looking like during that period of time. So this trail does not have any trail reports currently live, but let's just pretend it does. Let's pretend that it says it's open. But I want to get a sense of either what is going on with that trail, or let's just pretend I ran Marie Saddle and I'm coming back and I'm like, okay, it's time to give a trail report because I don't see any recent updates to this trail. I'm going to simply click the Add Trail Report button, select the date. Please don't tell my boss that I went and ran Marie's saddle this morning, okay? It's Wednesday the 12th. Cool. We're good. We went out this morning. I skipped a couple meetings. Secret between us, between 8 and 10, super doable, easy, back in time for my main call. The vehicle, Larry, took Larry out. And then what was the status of the trail? It was open. It's summertime. We're living large. Trail's open. Cool. What's next? I'm now going to hit next. And what was the trail? Well, the trail condition, it was pretty normal, and it was dusty. But I'm just going to select those two because that seems like a pretty standard condition that it was in. How difficult was this? Now, this is important because we have taken in from the trail guides, again, trusted hired hands. They're going through and assigning the difficulty rating, and they're applying that difficulty rating to to that specific trail, and then that is one person and one very experienced person's perception of the trail. We also know that the trail is sort of a living, breathing thing, and it can change over time. As an example, I was out on a trail this weekend with my daughter, one that I would probably qualify as a maybe a one or a two, super easy, but it was chewed up, it was nasty. We kind of had a wet winter, which kind of destroyed the trail. And I would say like it was not a fun, it wasn't a fun experience. It was just kind of like a washboardy, just kind of nasty, trees down everywhere. I'm going on a tangent, but you understand that's why trail reports are so important, is because now I can leave that feedback for the community to know, like you might want to have a chainsaw on because I came in some down trees 3 or 4 miles down the trail, so on and so forth. However, if you might think that the trail was either easier or harder than expected, we are offering that as an opportunity to let the rest of the community know that maybe it's a three for a really experienced person, but maybe on this day, because of the conditions, it either ran as an easier trail because of just it was smooth, dusty, flowy, or because of the conditions, it was a little bit gnarlier than expected. Feel free to drop that in there. It will not, to be clear, adjust the overall difficulty rating. So you won't see that number change, but it will let the community know as you're going through adding the trail reports. Oh, some folks think that this is a three when it's recorded as a two. but they were running a different type of rig, smaller wheels, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe that's why. How busy was the trail? Just me. And then you go into next, you can add photos. So if there is an obstacle, an obstruction, or you just love the views, you can drop a photo in there, let the community know how awesome that trail was with a description of what you saw on the trail. And then once you're done and you're confident in your report, you can click submit. I'm not going to do that because I don't want a false read on what that trail condition is looking like because I have not been out there recently. So I'm not going to do that, but you get the sense of the flow. Currently, we have almost 800 people on this call. Hi. Now, after this call and this weekend, please go out, run a trail, and then leave a trail report. I would love to see Monday of next week 800 new trail report submissions because that's really, really, really going to help the community out a ton. I mean, who wants to go eat in an empty restaurant anyway, right? Cool. I thought so. Okay, let's continue on. So, other information on the trail card. You have the total distance. So this reads as 12 miles. You have the high point and low point. I don't really ever pay attention to this, but this might be important as we are in shoulder seasons and weather might be moving in. How high up are you going to be getting? Are you going to be getting up to snow line? So all of that might be helpful if you are in a region where that kind of weather or weather conditions really, really matter and change dramatically. Might be worth checking out. The difficulty and difficulty rating right there. The total ride time, I think this is a bit subjective. It could be 30 minutes and it could be an hour, 30 minutes. That really is individual. And then the route type, this will let you know if this is an out and back, point to point, or a loop, best times to run it. And then, as I mentioned, our trail guides right here. So Mitch is the one that submitted this. Thank you, Mitch, if you're on the call, but you're probably not. And then the different types of vehicles that can access this trail. So because I am on the broadest filter possible, all of the vehicles will show. So you can run it with a full size, side by side, moto, whatever you wish. Then the trail description. So as you can imagine, this is what it is. It's just a breakdown of the trail. Again, if there is any sort of insights that the trail guide thought it might be worth sharing, as an example, there's a parking lot right off 90. Again, I'm in North Idaho. I'm checking this one out. This area is popular for side-by-sides and other off-road vehicles. This, I will say, actually is very important for someone like me to know because the speed at which the different vehicles are running, I may not want to share the trail with the side by side, and the side by side may not want to share the trail with me, but the size of the trail, both can be running at the same time. So this may or may not be a trail that I want to run. It's good information to know. And then, like I said, we have the photos, beautiful. Oh, I just love it. And then the difficulty rating broken down. And then if you are curious and want more, like Andy, what are you talking about with difficulty rating? How are you guys determining that? You can read on your own, or you can take a quick screenshot, or you can just go back in here later. But there's a little question mark. I'm pointing to my screen as if you can see my finger, and I know you can't. But right here, it says difficulty rating, little question mark icon right there. Click on that, boom. And now you have access to the entire breakdown, and you can determine for yourself if that trail is runnable for you or not. Now, one last thing. If you are in the state of planning a trip and you're not ready to go run that trail today or tomorrow, and you're like me, you just tend to forget things, you can save trails to your content. So, Marie Saddle, I want to come back. I want to run this or at least explore a little bit more. I'm going to hit the ribbon, save to my content. Boom, I'm good to go. Now, I've covered the trail reports. I'm going to move over to the nearby trails. This is basically the Discover tab pulled into your trail card. So if you're like me and you're trying to think through like all of the different trails you want to link up in a single run, this is a great way to do it. So that way you can kind of plan in a single space and then build that plan into a future adventure. And then if you're curious, and you don't want to pull up the weather app, you can go ahead and tap weather for that as well. Now, let's say we have an adventure up here that is going to require an offline map because where I am at, it could be 10 minutes off pavement on dirt, and I am out of cell service and I won't have cell service for the rest of the day. Like that's how quickly I am in no man's land where I am currently. And so one of the most important features that I use and that I encourage others to use is the offline maps. So let's just say I want to explore around the Yellow Dog Trail and Fern Falls. I can almost guarantee that that is going to be, I'm just going to say it. I'm guaranteeing I'm going to be out of cell range. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build myself an offline map for this area. So I'm going to tap on offline map. I'm going to hit this big, huge orange button down here. Boom. I'm going to select a new map. And then I can name this map anything I want to. And I'm just going to simply say Fern Falls adventure. Okay. And then I have the decision to make which resolution size do I want? Do I want a lower resolution and more map area? Do I want higher resolution and less map area? Or medium? The reality is we have optimized the offline map sizes to basically have no impact on your mobile device. So if you're like, I really want the highest quality offline map, but I'm worried about what that's going to do to my data or to my phone's battery, memory, whatever the case is, don't worry. It will not sabotage your phone's battery or storage. Generally speaking, though, I am going to opt for just medium resolution. It's everything I need and more, especially when I'm in situations where I need to like pinch in and zoom to see what might be around the trail bend, if there's an obstacle I need to look at, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this and notice that happened really quick. I just hit save and boom, I have a notification that says my area was saved and created for or to your it's saved to your account. Now, the offline map will be saved both to your desktop and if you are on your mobile, this will automatically be saved to your mobile as well. You don't have to do an extra step. So if you built your offline map and saved it on desktop, it's on your phone, no issues there. However, what I will say is if you do not see this green box, and it's kind of thin, but if you don't see this green box around the area that you thought you built your offline map for, and it's looking like it's red and white, that means that that offline map is in process of downloading, but it's not fully downloaded yet. So the green outline means you're good to go. If you don't see that green outline, it means that that map is not fully downloaded. Chances are you're in an area with maybe spotty Wi-Fi. Because I'm on my desktop and because I'm literally hovering over my router right now, it was instant. If I were to do this on my phone, it would be almost instant. But the further out of cell range you get, the slower the download speed is going to be. And that's important to know because I've heard folks say in the past, well, I made this offline map and I thought it was good to go. And I go out into the field and I open up the offline map and it's all blurry, it's all pixelated. and I go to look to see if the map had been fully downloaded. It had not been. It had paused in progress, likely due to the fact that they began to download either out in the field or somewhere in transit from a strong Wi-Fi signal. So just make sure, triple check that that offline map had been saved. And then you can access all of those offline maps from this offline map tab on your navigation bar. So again, I'm going to click on this, pop that up. You're going to see Fern Falls Adventure right there at the top. You can organize new versus old or in alphabetical order, and then you can save or delete any of the offline maps that you've built at any point in time that you wish. Now, I talked a little bit about the my content area, and this is where I want you guys to really like focus in on because this is essentially your hub, right? So if you click on that, and if you're on the mobile device, it's going to be at the very center of that menu. And here is sort of like your office, so to speak. You can go in and organize however you wish all of the content that you have created or saved to your profile. So the content that I am referring to is anything like a track. So let's say you're on your phone or you went out in the field and you have CarPlay or Android Auto as an in-dash unit and you're recording your track out in the field. That will be saved right here in tracks. It's just a simple breadcrumb line to let you know where you ran. It's a great scrapbook item for me, but it also serves as a purpose to remember other trips or other trails that I've ran if I want to go run it again. Or you can share the track with a buddy and be like, "Hey, I just ran this really epic route. Here's a track for you. Go ahead and share that. Click share, and it will send out as a clickable, shareable link, which is awesome. So then your friends have access to that adventure as well. So I'm gonna back out of there, back out of there. And then routes, waypoints, lines, or areas are all tucked into that My Content zone. Another thing that you have access to, which is arguably probably the most important element of the content space, is creating a folder. So I have this buddy Mike that I have built a folder for. We've shared adventures a ton. And basically what I've done is I've packaged up a whole bunch of information for Mike to reference. We went out on a trip and I created a couple routes. I'll show you how to make a couple routes, or I'll show you how to make a route. But I made some routes. I added some waypoints. And then I shared this folder with him because I was the group leader, which meant I was planning the trip, organizing it. I'm going to share this out. And same thing, you get that clickable, shareable link. And here's kind of the sweet thing about a folder share is you as the organizer can share out a folder and that will share the main kind of master folder, and if the individual that receives that wants to then start adding some elements to the folder because it's specific to their part of the trip, but not the trip as a whole, they can make a copy of the folder, save that copied folder to their device locally, and they can start making edits, and it will not disrupt the master folder. So that way, if you've shared it with a few folks, people are not going in there and messing with the overall plan in real time. They can have their individual copies or versions of the plan saved to their device from that shared folder that you sent over. So it's super helpful. It's one of those, if you're like me, I like to feel organized. If I feel a little scattered, then I feel like it just haywire is about to break loose. So I utilize folders quite a bit, and I would encourage you guys to do the same. Scrolling up, I will say at the top of the My Content section, anyone who's coming over from other products out there, other navigation software, and you're like, I want to start now importing some of my old data because I'm ready to make a switch. Well, guess what? You can start that import process tonight. Simply pull out the GPX files or KML files from the other software or tool that you are using for navigation purposes, and then package those up either in your Finder window or whatever the case might be for the computer you're on. Pull them over, drag and drop, and that will begin importing all of that data into your onX Offroad account. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot really briefly to the other side of the screen. So I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to jump over to the Tools tab up here on the upper right corner of the screen. For you guys on the mobile device, this will be one, two, three, fourth over on the little navigation bar. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to begin building a route. This is one of my favorite features that we have to offer. And I'm going to zoom into a section. Actually, I'm going to hide this really quickly. So let me just do something real quick. Oops, see, it's trying to build my route. Discard the route. Okay. I'm going to now create a route at the trail that I ran this weekend. So the tools right up here, click build route. And this is so simple and so seamless that if you're not paying attention, you might be like, what did I miss? You didn't miss anything. It's just that seamless. Click build route and figure out where it is your starting point of that route's going to be. So for me, I'm going to zoom in just so you can see kind of this process. It's 1575 Beauty Bay, and I'm going to run all the way up this trail. And you can see the red line, the breadcrumb, begin to just snap straight to that trail. If you were an eagle eye just then, you're also going to see that at times it's going to try to find, well, it will always try to find the fastest path or fastest route to your end destination. So you might find that there might be the route will want to snap somewhere else because it's basically identifying a quicker path to wherever you want to go. But if you're like, no, I just want to stay on this trail, um, dirt only, you might need to do a couple snaps just to make sure like that's all stitching together nicely. And then let's just say I'm going to call the end of the route right there. I'm going to say Beauty Bay, and that's my route. Total distance about 5 miles. You can choose which color your route is going to display as. And this is important because the way that your route displays on your device is essentially like a breadcrumb trail out in front. So as you're following, your GPS puck should basically be closing each segment of that route as you're moving down the trail. So for that reason, I generally like a brighter color and I like it to be a thicker line weight so I can quickly see my route in front of me on my mobile device. So I'm going to go with this teal color. But that might be that looks okay. I'm gonna do that teal color. I'm gonna keep the style of this as a dashed line. And then I'm going to say, like, let's just pretend that this was on the default. This is the thin weight or thin thickness of the line. I want this to be a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this. As you can see, whoops, I'm going to cancel that because I went a little quick. I'm going to go down at the bottom and you're going to see add to folder. And now I'm going to go to check this out, Mike, boom, saved there. And then you're good to go. Your route has been saved and you're ready to rip it. It's saved in the folder that you just chose. You can share it following that shared flow that I went over, which is just simply a shareable, clickable link. You can edit the route if you've noticed that the route, there's an error in the route, or if you want to extend or shorten the route, you can edit it or you can delete it. And if you're happy with it, cool. I love that. But if you're like, I love it, but I don't want to see it right now, you can also hide it on a map and your map gets clean again. Super simple. Using the route build tool is great for any multi-day adventures, especially multi-day adventures, or if you're in a new section and you just really want to like make sure that you are running the right fun route. Now, let's just say I'm going to skip down here because while we were out on the trail, I think we saw something. I want to mark what we saw. So I'm going to go right here to this bend. You could see my waypoint. I was dragging it around the screen. I'm just going to do that one more time. See, just dragging that guy. I'm going to put that waypoint right here. And it was suspicious what I saw. I think it was Sasquatch. I'm not sure, and I don't have photo evidence, but I think it might have been Sasquatch. And because of that, I'm gonna mark that purple because I want to come back and I want to do some exploring. And was my note is simply gonna be was sassy here. I might come back and I might just figure out what the heck was going on. Or if you're a little bit more serious, jokes aside, if you're a little bit more serious and you're like, okay, this is a section where we need to start airing down, or this is a section where this is going to be a great camp spot, or if there's a section where nope, that's a down tree, which actually was true right around this area, go ahead and mark that. The customizable waypoints are so key, especially as you start acquiring more and more and more waypoints, because that's going to happen through the planning process, scouting out different trailer park zones, different dispersed camping zones, or if you're on a multi-day trip and you want to like identify fuel stops along the way, customizable waypoints is your ticket to living a stress-free life. I guarantee it. I don't know if I can guarantee it, but I suggest that it will. Okay, we're backing out of here. Now, this all looks fun. This looks amazing. But one of the things that I spend probably the most amount of time geeking out about is our 3D maps. And this, especially as I'm getting into more of a camping mindset as the weather is shifting, I am using 3D maps almost exclusively because I'm wanting to see what the terrain variation is going to look like. I want to see all of the nooks and crannies along the trail. I want to know if Larry, the Land Cruiser, can sneak onto some BLM land and find a great spot to post camp for the night. So I am constantly r- utilizing 3D maps to be able to get a better picture of the land. And if you're not a satellite fan, you obviously have different base map options. So go ahead and click through, and I'll just move back to 2D for this example. But you can click through and get a hybrid base map or a topo base map. Our topo design is extremely beautiful. I might be biased, but I love the way that the information and data displays on our topo maps. Super clean, clear, and easy to reference. And then I'm going to get into now some membership tier breakdowns and some benefits that you would get either at the premium subscription model or the elite subscription model. So the breakdown is this. If you're like, all right, Andy, this is cool. I don't see anything that you are talking about. Chances are you are on a free account, and that's fine. A free account is a great map option if all you need is to see a map. But if you're looking for trails, like the guided trails I just talked about, whether it's green, blue, red, black, whatever the case is, if you want to build routes, if you want to make some offline maps, you're going to need what we call the premium membership. Everything I just covered is accessible through your premium membership. That is $35 a year, so very manageable. But then if you're interested in a little bit more advanced tools, planning, etc., the Elite subscription model, $100 a year. We are about to roll out a monthly subscription model for Elite, so stay tuned for that. But there's two things I want to highlight really quickly that you get with the Elite subscription. Number one, you have access to what we call recent satellite imagery. So you're going to need to be in the satellite base map to view it. And then you can click that on, and from right there, it doesn't look like much has changed. But hold on. If you see this bar down below, that I'm highlighting, let's go ahead and go back. Oops, what's going on? Glitch. If you go back in time, scrolling back. Oh, all of a sudden, you're starting to see a little bit of snow, a little bit. And this was a very light snow year, so it's kind of a bad example, but you can start to see that the terrain is starting to take a little bit of a different shape because what recent satellite imagery is doing is it's giving me a 2 week breakdown of the weather change or weather patterns in my area. And so if I want to know where the snow line is or where the water levels are, the recent satellite imagery is going to be an amazing unlock and tool, especially during the shoulder seasons. And like I said, the trails, they're living and breathing, they change every season. And so this is a great tool just to kind of make sure you know what you are getting into. And then the second benefit of the Elite membership is if you can see, I'm going to zoom in real quick here and I'm going to turn this off, satellite imagery. If you can see all of these red squares, all of these outlines and names associated, this is our private land layer. And this is so critical because there's a lot of BLM land that butts up to private parcels. So on some private parcels, especially up where I'm at, trails are running through it, trails that are accessible and open, gates open at the base of the trail and at the end of the trail, but it's cutting through a property. This is so valuable to know if you are in a zone that you are allowed to be in. And then even more critical if you are of the variety that wants to go dispersed camping and you want to know where you can legally set up camp for the night. I'm going to show you what this looks like if this layer is turned off. So again, I'm going to be up here in my dirt activity tab. I'm going to open that up. And I'm going to scroll down here in the private land layer. I'm going to toggle this off, and all of that data, those boundary markers and those names associated disappear. So again, if you're like, Andy, I don't see any of that. Chances are you don't have an elite membership. That's solvable. Just upgrade. And then you'll have access to the private land layer. I feel like I flew and we are almost out of time. I hope you guys are doing good. Melissa, is there any key questions that we need to address before we move into the giveaway?
Well, I would say one of the most popular questions tonight is, are these recordings going to be live anywhere? And they're going to be available on YouTube right after
I'm
the.
going to take that as a no because I can't hear her. Nope, I can't. Okay. Again, if, please, just one last shout out before you drop. Don't drop. We have a giveaway. Don't leave, people. Don't leave. Don't leave. Oh, you could hear her? Everyone can hear her but me. Okay. People are not leaving. Thank you. Don't leave. You guys are locked. Melissa, will you continue? I cut you off.
Sure, Andy. I was just saying that this will be available on YouTube. I know it was a little bit fast for some of the beginners out there, but you can pause on YouTube and follow along. Also, our customer service support is always on standby.
Well, that's weird. I can't hear her at all. But Dan, wait, Steve, thank you for letting me know she was done. Let's go ahead and let's round this out. Thank you for sticking along. Yes, my speaker is on. Um, anyway, the giveaway. We're here. It's Zoom. It is Zoom. I know. But we are here at the end. The giveaway, we're giving away 10 trash bags. I have a prop here. This is what you get. You get a trash bag. You can put a book in it. I know this is blurry and I apologize, but you get the point. You can stick a whole bunch of stuff in here, whether it's a GoPro, whether it's a pocket knife, whether it's a jacket, shoes, all of that. We have 10 of these that we're giving away. You do not have to have a paid account, but an onX Offroad account is required. So it can be a free account. And yes, Philip, only 10, but you might be one of the 10. No purchases necessary. Check your emails tomorrow if you have been selected. Please keep the trails clean. That's why we do this. But also, thank you for tuning in. If you are following along on any of our channels, I am wearing a Dirtbound and Down hat. We have a new episode. If you're not familiar with that, go check it out. I'm going to tease it. Go check it out on the YouTubes. It's a new series that we have launching, or it has launched. The next series is on Friday. And then next week, we have our new build challenge coming out as well. So check it out. Be on Instagram, be on Facebook, be on YouTube's, be on Snap, but more importantly, be on the trails. Be good, everyone. We'll see you out there. And if you're going to be at Expo PNW, let us know. Come see us. We will be there. I will be there. Thank you. Enjoy the night. Have a great week, y'all.